Hello 12A, and I hope you're all well. So for the next 2 days, so period 5 and 7 today and tomorrow period 6, I'm actually going to allocate for you to do your practice seminar. So that means I want you to get into pairs or groups of 3. I know that you're old enough and smart enough to be able to put yourself into those groups, so I'm not going to do that for you. So just go into a group that you're comfortable with, but as I said, I'd like pairs or groups of 3 because we've only got 3 periods to go through this. As you know, you have your seminar needs to run for 10 minutes with a 5-minute question time. So what I'd like you to do is practice that full presentation with how you're going to develop the discussion in preparation for your actual exam, which you can see here will be the 20th, the 21st, the 22nd, and then most of next week as well. The person that is presenting, please present like you would in a general seminar scenario. So have your laptop up and running, have your PPT ready to go, make sure your video recording is done. Concentrate on how quickly you'll speak, make sure that you know the information, that you don't need to read off the PowerPoint, you don't need to read off a document, and eye contact with the audience, make it engaging for them. At the same time, so while that one person is giving their presentation, the other person will actually be completing a peer assessment sheet, which I will find, I hope. Sorry, just bear with me just a moment. Here we go. So the other person, so if you're in a pair, one person will be presenting, the other person will be completing the peer assessment, and then you swap and do the same thing for the other. You are going to be required to do a peer assessment for the actual assessment event. So this is practice for you to analyse the person that is presenting, but also a great opportunity to give the presenter some really useful feedback to make any last little changes they need to before the actual seminar assessment event. So if you can put your name and the date, the topic of the presentation, and the name of the person who's giving the presentation. So what you're going to do, we've got 3 columns here. The first tells you what we're going to be looking at. The second is just a yes or no, never or sometimes. And the third section is actually for your notes. So if you sit with a good friend, you know that that friend will be able to give you some really positive and useful constructive criticism. Maybe, oh, I think there's too much going on in that PowerPoint. I think that we need to move that. I couldn't really hear you. You didn't have very good eye contact. All of that information is going to be really useful to the presenter. So here are the things that you need to go off. The aim of the presentation was clear, so you know what they were talking about. You could see that the research was done and the presentation was well organised. If not, make a comment, give it back to the presenter so they can make those changes. Speaker understood the topic. This means that the speaker's not reading off anything. They know about the topic. You could actually hear them. The content was interesting. So if they were talking about how grass grows, they didn't make it really, really boring. You actually wanted to listen to the presentation. The speaker made eye contact with you. You could understand the pronunciation, grammar and vocab made sense. Did they use any videos or pictures or handouts? Did they have them? And also, were they appropriate? The speaker was able to develop a follow-up conversation. So did they ask you as the audience member some questions or develop a conversation around their topic? Did you find that your interaction with the speaker was positive? You felt really good about talking to that person? Yes or no, why and why not? And then I'd like you to write any questions that come up because that will actually help during the discussion period. Sometimes the speaker might get really nervous and you as a friend or a classmate can come up with some ideas and questions to just help them along to make sure that they fill up that 5-minute discussion time. So that's all we're actually doing today. So I just want you to get into a pair or a group of 3, no bigger than a group of 3. So just a pair or a group of 3 and start presenting your seminar to that person and then swap over. And each of you will be completing a seminar presentation skills document. Now, I want to prepare you for not tomorrow, but the day after. I'm going to provide you, I've actually sent it in the WeChat group, but just to confirm what this information means. Now it's disappeared again. Okay, here we go. Okay, so here is what I call the 014 seminar run sheet. So run sheet just means who goes first, second, third. It's what we use in the theatre. So you can see over here we have the presenter. So the first person that will present on the 20th of May in period 6 is Alan. Yay! Okay, so Alan, make sure before the class starts that you've got your PowerPoint ready on the smartboard. Make sure that your videos are working, your sound is working, make sure you're comfortable, and everything's going to run smoothly. So you should always do a bit of a tech check before you actually start a seminar. Now, Alan, while you're doing your seminar, Mary, Hughie and Christina, you guys are going to be doing a peer assessment sheet. So 1, 2, 3 of you. 1, 2, 3 of you are actually going to be doing a peer assessment sheet for Alan. And while Alan's doing his presentation, Rebecca, you have 2 options. You can sit and watch his presentation, or you can pop outside and practice your speech before you go on after him. I understand that both of the presentations, so it's 15 minutes per presentation, the class is only for 45 minutes. So you can see that I've allowed only 2 people per class. If for some reason that you've got some extra time and someone wants to go, that's okay. This isn't set in stone. At the same time, if someone goes over, I've got the 27th of May, and we've got 2 classes available, so 2 sessions available there if we do have someone running over, so we should have enough time. So take note of who you're actually going to be assessing, so you can see the assessors down here. Each of you will be provided only with 1 peer assessment sheet. And what I'd actually like you to do with that peer assessment sheet is just divide it into 3 columns. So 1, 2, 3. So say if you're doing Steve, Mary and Kellogg, Steve, Mary and Kellogg, and then just write down what your comments are for each of them there, okay? The reason I'm doing it that way, I just don't want to cut down any more trees. We need to care about our environment, and then these presentations will actually be attached with the presenter so we can get their feedback. But please be really honest when you're doing that. So that's all happening next week when we start doing the, later this week when we start doing the actual presentations. But as I said today, please just jump in with your friend or a couple of friends, groups of 3 maximum, and start practicing your presentation, give some constructive feedback, and then working and improve and develop that. That's all for now. I wish you the best of luck. I'll do a quick introduction to the seminar assessment for the week, and I will see you in the next class. Thank you.